Ipswich have never beaten Cambridge in the league, and that run continues today. Coupled with late crucial goals elsewhere, surely the Blues' playoff hopes are now over. This is the Blue Monday Podcast Instant Reaction Show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Blue Monday Podcast, covering Ipswich Town, up or down since 2015. This is the instant reaction show following Cambridge at home, and I'm joined after his brisk walk back by Richard Woodward, our eyes at the ground today. Rich, that didn't go to plan, did it?
Oh, Seb, I mean, there's so much stuff that it was one of those games where everything felt bad. You know what I mean? We've had a week of optimism and happiness, and it just felt flat from minute one. And I know we're going to talk about selections shortly, but it just felt, especially after when they scored, like that was it. And maybe, frankly, it's helpful to stop thinking about the playoffs. You said the word surely the playoffs are. I mean, definitely the playoffs are gone now, aren't they? So we can stop thinking about that and focus on next season. And I think we need to start doing that anyway, because the performance today highlighted the dysfunction in our team, areas that we know about, sure, but it just brought those home really. And to lose to a team like Cambridge, we didn't really talk about this in the pre-match, the masters of the dark arts, they were very good at that, but we just need to be better at dealing with that. And everyone had an off day, including the support. Very flat, Seb, very unhappy, but we can live in reality now, can't we?
Yeah, I guess so. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you give this a like and get your comments in below. I guess we'll start with the team selection and a couple of surprises. We debated on the pre-match show when we recorded it on Thursday night. There might be some rotation amongst the front three, but we didn't even discuss Carroll coming in for Backinson, did we? What were your thoughts on that when it was revealed at 2 p.m?
No, as always, I kind of think in McKenna we trust, and there's always some extenuating circumstances that happens behind the scenes that we're not aware of. But I guess I'm suspicious that Backinson's on the bench, and even more suspicious now, I guess, that he didn't come on. So I wonder whether that was maybe injury related. Obviously, we're recording this just so folk are aware before hearing from McKenna after the game. But I trust McKenna to make the decisions. But as we found out through the game, the likes of Chaplin, the likes of Carroll, really talented individual footballers, but you just don't get enough of them as a consistent work ethic over the course of the whole game. You get flashes, you get a pass around the corner, or you get a shot on goal from Chaplin, and that just wasn't enough today. And it was kind of crying out for someone a bit more solid to be alongside Morsey, to actually give Morsey a bit of license to push forward. Morsey was our most creative midfielder today, maybe our most creative player, full stop. And that kind of tells you the type of performance that we were having today. Selina, we talked about Selina's kind of earned that spot. He didn't really show up today. A lot of players who were in the running for people's player of the season, maybe folk are thinking twice after today. Let's not get too excited about the performance, but I quite agree with the sentiment behind your question, which is, in hindsight, I think we missed Backinson. In hindsight, I think we missed Aluko. And the substitutions in the second half kind of confirmed that from McKenna's perspective.
You said there that we had, people off form. Was that what it was today? Did too many players simply have an off day, and I guess it caught up with us?
Yeah, I think so. Cambridge, I don't want to, diminish Cambridge's performance today, because they tried very hard. We knew kind of the type of performance we were going to get from them, and I think maybe that the lack of pressure on them was helpful, and maybe the players felt a weight of expectation after last week. Great performance last week, and maybe there was a sense that this was too far. I don't know, but certainly, apart from Morsey, maybe Burgess, I'm struggling to think of a player that I would give more than a 6 out of 10 to.
And obviously the guys will go through minute by minute detail on the flagship tomorrow. That should be with you by tomorrow night. But the goal, it's a set play. You know, we don't score from set pieces. They looked pretty atrocious today. We've conceded from one with Ironside bundling the ball in at the far post off Thompson. Ironside I thought was good today. He led the line well, didn't he? Held the ball up and he executed Cambridge's game plan to a T.
Yeah, I mean, I'm struggling. I had to remind myself how the goal went in, and I wasn't aware. Not that I can hear anything in the North Stand lower anyway, and I don't think we announce own goals. But I couldn't even remember a full time the Cambridge goal. So as insignificant as it was in the match, because the narrative really isn't about Cambridge today, frankly. For me, certainly, I'm sure Cambridge fans enjoyed their cup final today, and you know, you mentioned it, or did I mention it? I think both of us mentioned this. You mentioned it in your intro again. This you haven't beaten them in the league at Portman Road. It just felt, as I say, yeah, too many things conspired against us. But yeah, even if we'd won set, there was a lot of bitching today. The officials, League One standard. Even if we'd got some of the free kicks that we were shouting for around the penalty area, I'm not convinced we would have converted any of those chances.
No, I mean, 6 shots on target from us, but I can't remember any real clear-cut ones. And you say there about things conspiring against us, and in the 92nd minute, Sheffield Wednesday win their game, and then in the 95th minute, Sunderland win their game. So with the league table, shock horror, we're still in 9th, always the same, but we're now 6 points off the playoffs, and they've all got games in hand over us up as far as Plymouth. It's done, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, and maybe that's helpful. I kind of think that we all deep down knew, and I think Joe used the word praying for a miracle. I think we were. The trouble I've got, is McKenna's home record, no defeats until today. I'm disappointed to lose that record in such a manner, in that kind of fixture, that kind of performance. That's disappointing. But maybe this allows us a little bit of free rein to try stuff out. I'm just disappointed that the playoff hunt hasn't ended because we've run out of games, as opposed to we've dropped points and other teams have gathered points on us. It's kind of disappointing that we couldn't just hang in there a little bit, particularly kind of for season ticket sales and maintain that momentum. But what we'll do now, Seb, is we'll beat Wigan and we'll beat Rotherham and we'll be there or thereabouts. That's typical Ipswich, but today was also too much typical Ipswich as well, particularly the typical Ipswich that we saw in the first half of the season. We need to figure out strategies to beat teams who are happy to sit and low block, happy to time waste referees who are not going to clamp down on it, teams that are going to sap the momentum, but we just need to figure out these front three options. It doesn't work. And hopefully McKenna's now got, 6 matches, is it? Let's put the league table back up.
5 games to go. So he's got himself a mini pre-season now before the real pre-season to try and work out how to break these sides down, because I think we're going to be seeing a fair lot of this next year at Portman Road, aren't we? Obviously, the guys will go into detail with the flagship show tomorrow. Ben, Craig and Dave, I think, are on the flagship tomorrow. So be sure to join into that. If you want to remember happier times of a week ago when it was brilliant sunshine and the energy bills were lower and we were beating teams in the top 7, feel free to dial into last week's show against Plymouth. We'll put a link up. I'm sure you'll work your magic up here or up here somewhere for last week's instant reaction show. But thank you for joining in. Make sure you give the video a like and we'll see you soon.